What's good, family? Welcome to a Minor Hoops podcast, a show with the freshest opinions and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm here with the homies, the squad. Dunk Man Keith, my bad. Tamon, Brian. I'm excited, y'all. Everyone's here. Everybody's here. It's been
a while.
It was 2021 last time everybody was here, y'all. I mean,
it's been about a solid month.
We up.
It's
been longer than a solid month.
It's been 3.
Because when did you have the kid?
You
the kids?
Wow, you literally just
we haven't.
I haven't said anything.
Nobody said it.
It's okay.
Oh,
okay.
I didn't know if you wanted that information out there. That's why I've been telling
he
people.
ain't Drake. Like,
it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they put it on their Instagram already. I thought I can just casually talk about it now. Yeah. That's usually my sign.
I mean, okay, all right, you got it.
I wasn't gonna say the kid's name or nothing like that, but it's just like, oh yeah, like that was my reference point for Keith now is like BK and then AK.
Story of I ain't gonna do it. But yeah, so it's definitely been like longer than a month.
Yeah, the baby's almost 3 months.
Oh snap! Yeah, it's been a longer than a month.
Been a long time.
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah, of course you're sure. Yeah, but
Thanks, sir.
I'm like, how do y'all keep track? Do y'all like just like mark on the wall or just?
No, you kind of know.
On the day and then you just say.
I'm just saying, like it's babies. Are they like trees? You know, like trees got rings on the inside, so you can see how old they are.
Wow. We didn't cut them open to check.
Like one of those cake babies that you see on Instagram all the time.
Right, but no, it's because you know when he's born, so you know, whenever the next month. That
fair.
Day and the next month gets here.
Track him by the moons. All right.
By the moons.
Right.
Respect.
Right. His rising retrograde. Yep.
No.
All right, let's talk basketball.
Yeah, this is.
Hey, man, we got a good show for y'all, man. We appreciate everyone who's watching and listening, whether it's on YouTube or Apple or Spotify. If you're watching, go ahead, subscribe, comment below to join the conversation because we love the conversation. If you are listening, rate the show 5 stars, 4 stars. Anything below that, you can keep that. Because like my mama say, ain't got nothing nice to say. Don't say nothing at all. We appreciate y'all. Let's get to it. We haven't really talked about these guys much this season. And I'll take blame for that. And no, I take that back. It's not my fault. The Lakers are horrendous. Steph is looking special. Kyrie came back. There's been bigger stories. I'll be honest. There's been bigger stories. But
then the Suns doing what they did last year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so.
No, to be honest.
No, for real.
Honest,
I mean, but we have been ignoring them. And so the Suns are back in the first in Western Conference. Mm-hmm. And you can blame them however you want to blame that on, Brian.
I'm not blaming them. Well, I mean, I am, but not right now.
Suns are back in first place. The Bucks are 4th in the Eastern Conference, but the big three are all back, and they are 18-3 this season. And so when we look at the NBA Finals in terms of last year and what these two teams in which they participated, is it possible we have ignored them, and could they be our matchup for this year?
I just don't see the Suns getting there, and I like the Suns. I really do like the Suns. I think their pathway to the finals, I think is going to go through Golden State. And I don't see them winning that matchup. It's an interesting matchup. It's just where I'm going to put my money on it. And then, I've already said if Brooklyn is healthy, then I'm taking them out of the East as well. But it makes everything a little bit more interesting because I've said that I think the Suns are legitimate title contenders. I wouldn't put my money on them, but they are definitely one of the team names that we should be well aware of and speak about more because what they've been doing this year is ridiculous. It's crazy.
I've enjoyed watching both these teams, definitely Phoenix, because I was one of the people who were like, the Phoenix is going to be good during this part. I think I had them at second in the West based on our standings to finish off the year. But I did see growth out of them as well. Michael Bridges is growing. Mikal Bridges is growing on the offensive side, already special on the defensive side. Cam Johnson is growing in terms of his involvement and his participation on both sides of the ball. Cam Payne found a home.
Yeah, finally
found a home, and he looked.
The Suns at third, by the way.
Suns at third.
Me and Tamon had them at 2.
Oh, okay. So expect them to be really, really good, and they seem to exceeded that. The question is, and like we've already brought up, is are they capable enough of beating a Golden State? I think they can beat anybody else, though.
No, to be completely honest, I think they can get everybody else out the way in terms of the West.
Yeah.
But my question is right now, and I'm not gonna say they feel like the Houston Rockets when they just kept losing to the Warriors during those years.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Suns, it's just the way they play. Every time I watch the Suns play basketball, it's just on point, just doing what they have to do, getting everybody out the way. These games, they're not great to watch because they're not fun. They just literally do what they're supposed to do. Night in and night out, they handle business. So
I don't know. They fun to me.
They're fun to people who, like, you know what I mean? They're
To
not
the
like fun like
casuals, to the
watching the
casuals,
Warriors
to the
or even watching the Lakers lose. People have like a lot of enjoyment doing that. Watching the Suns play basketball is just watching hoops for real. So they're at that tier where I don't want to disrespect them and then just
dismiss them completely.
Yeah, like they have no shot at winning. But it's still, even though they were, went to the finals last year, even with those 2 games they pulled off in the finals last year, and even with everything they're doing in the regular season again this year, it still feels only but so much. Even with them being number 1 in the West still right now, it still feels like that we're not having you as the number 1 contender. To be honest, it still feels like we're waiting for the Lakers to come around like half the world is to see if they're going to be the number 2 contender in the West.
Hold that thought.
A lot of people don't want to just give the Suns the credit of just establishing and being there and being present. But I think they're just definitely the second team in the West to watch out for, hands down, like going into the playoffs.
All right, B, be quiet.
No, I'm letting y'all go. Like I said, I kind of agree with both y'all. I don't think we're ignoring them. I think we kind of just know what they are and what we're getting from them. I think it's kind of the same way with Milwaukee. Like I said, the fact that they're 18-3 when the big 3 plays, they've battled injuries throughout the entire season. These are 2 teams who we know what we're getting from them. In Milwaukee's case, I'm probably a little bit higher on them because I think there is a level of explosive ability they have that I've seen before in the playoffs. With Phoenix, somebody said this point to me the other day is I feel like Phoenix is probably the team in the league that has the highest floor. Like every day, like you're going to get at least an 8 out of 10 from them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can get a 10 out of 10 from them though in a Game 7, Game 6, Game 5. Like Chris Paul, he's been playing well. He is declining. Anybody that watches him can see it. He's no longer the same guy he was. Mm-hmm. You're assuming Devin Booker takes another leap, but I mean, as good as he's playing, he hasn't really taken another like superstar leap. And DeAndre Ayton, the way they use him is kind of just a DeAndre Ayton. Mikal Bridges, yes, has played better, but once again, is that somebody you like think is gonna just go off for 35 in a Game 6? Is Jay Crowder that person? Is Cam Johnson that person? Like, when you match them up against other teams in the West, whether it's Golden State, in a Game 6, especially now with Clay back, you can, like I said, we can sit here and talk about how he's looked. He hasn't played basketball in 2 years, and he looks physically fine.
But that talent around matters.
We're talking about April, May, June, 6 months from now, or 4 or 5 months from now. Mm-hmm. He'll be Klay Thompson. I believe he'll be Klay Thompson. Yeah. So you're telling me in a Game 6, like if it comes down to a shootout between Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and then Chris Paul and Devin Booker, I'm probably going to take Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, especially when they have other guys around them like Wiggins and Poole and so on and so forth. Even if we want to throw the Lakers hypothetically in the scenario, like if it comes down to a Game 7, Game 6 with the Lakers, like everybody healthy, like LeBron James and AD have a higher ceiling than Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So that's why the Suns kind of just fall in this category of like, we know what you are. We just don't know if you have it yet.
So it sounds like we're getting Budenholzer's Hawks vibes from them.
I don't even know if it's
because they have a legitimate superstar. And I knew you were going to say like the Hawks because I was feeling the Hawk vibes. Devin Booker.
I don't know if he's a legitimate superstar.
I think he's legit. I think
superstar?
I don't know what else to call him.
He's a star.
Bare minimum, he's a star. But what puts you into that extra of being superstar? Because I don't see what box he hasn't checked, to be honest. Except for a couple more All-NBAs or something. But realistically, when you're the starting 2 guard and you're the best team on your team and you take them to the finals, it's really hard for me not to call you super. And I get what y'all saying. It's teetering a line, but I'm gonna say he has emerged
He's leaning more into superstar than outside of it.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think honestly, I think this is the year he has to prove that.
Fair, and that's fair too.
This is the year because as great as the run was last year, he didn't knock off a legit. Well, I'm not gonna say knock off a legitimate super, but he didn't knock off a superstar at their peak. He knocked off the Lakers injured, Nuggets injured, Clippers injured, and then you met a superstar in the finals and you went home. Like
fair, he hooped out in the finals.
He hooped out.
I give him that.
But
I see what you mean.
Like,
I see what you mean. We got to see it twice. We say
like
that
if he-
often. You got to see it twice.
Like
I
if he
can
knocks
agree with
off
that.
Steph Curry this year, it's like, okay, yeah, dude, you've arrived. You're here. It's official. No ifs and buts about it. It's on to the next one. So
I was gonna say, I think D Book put in his time as a star already. I mean, I think I was giving him a lot of credit too earlier on when they were still losing, like with no direction.
that's fair.
I mean, because that's something that we've also mentioned before in terms of we knew that those weren't necessarily empty calorie numbers.
Yeah.
Like we knew that
D Book can do this when it matters.
D Book can do this when it matters
No,
based
he's a
upon the
certified
way
bucket.
he plays.
He's a certified
So,
bucket.
Yeah. But he's up there. Like this is pins and needles. This is nitpicking
sure.
when we're talking about stars and superstars. But
Right.
that's what the main difference I would say about that Atlanta Hawks team. If we're talking about that team when they had like 4 All-Stars or maybe they didn't have 5. I think they had
It was
4.
four. It was-
Yeah, Al Horford, Millsap, Corver, and Teague.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm about to say 4 All-Stars. The difference is like I'm not really trying to build a franchise around any of them.
But you know what Hawks team it does slightly remind me of a little bit more? It wasn't that version.
That Josh Smith one.
The Josh Smith,
You know,
Joe Johnson version.
I figured that one was a closer
Like,
one.
That was
yeah.
that's a closer comparison. And now it's a matter of is Devin Booker more Joe Johnson or is he? I'm trying to think of somebody that would be a superstar comparison as a shooting guard besides Kobe at this point.
Nah, fair.
T-Mac.
I don't know if that's a good.
I was like,
I don't know if that's the one
I
you want
would
to go
say,
with.
yeah.
No, I mean, and I'm gonna be honest, and I watched T-Mac's interview with Draymond Green,
Yeah.
and T-Mac alluded to the fact that he said that if I had some of the situations that other teams have had, and if we look back in terms of all the things that took place when I was trying to make my run, the other teams were making their runs, injuries hit us, situations like riddled my career more than
Than
anybody
any
else.
of the other stars.
And,
yeah.
and so if I had a situation like Kobe,
I just want him to get out the first round.
All right.
I'm not saying he should.
That was a tough West, too.
I've had this
Well, he was
conversation
losing
so
very
well.
tough West
It
at
was-
the time. Like it was
I've had this conversation with so many people about
It's a
T-Mac.
very tough
T-Mac,
West.
yes, was literally one of the most fun, explosive guys to watch ever. No doubt, no ifs and buts about it. As far as talent, he is on par with Kobe and any other guy you want to name. I'm not saying he should have ever won a championship because he shouldn't have with any of those squads. Should have got out the first round. At least once.
I'm not gonna say I can agree with it, but I can feel the sentiments. Like, you're T-Mac. Yeah, I get it. But we were all there watching him getting injured and injured, and watching his teammates get injured, and et cetera, et cetera. So I still feel some kind of,
and just some of the matchups just wasn't in his favor.
yeah. Like, when I say get out the first round, when y'all say get out the first round, it's like, okay,
Get out the first
you're
round
asking him to
against
beat
who?
Kobe. You're
Right,
asking him to
get out
beat
the first round
Tim.
against
Like,
He never played them in the first round.
no, he played.
He played
them-
Dallas, Utah.
What years are you talking about?
I'm talking about his
You
years in
talk
Houston.
In his Houston years?
He played Dallas.
No, that was second.
He played Dallas for his first year in Houston with Yao Ming
The
playing.
year we went to, I think that was.
The next year he played Utah, and then the year after that he played Utah.
So that was both Darren Williams mobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it won't like those Houston teams were bad.
Because what is this?
05, 06, and 07.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm thinking later.
Like, don't get me wrong, he played good teams.
Who was his head coach?
I want to say, was it? Let me make sure I check it again. I want to say it was Van Gundy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. He should have got one of those Utah teams out of there.
Yeah, Jeff Van Gundy his first year. He lost to Dallas in a 7-game series. They lost Game 7 by 40.
I do remember that year.
The next year he plays Utah. Oh no, next year they don't make it. This
That was
year,
on
this
ESPN
year,
the next
this is the
day.
year Tracy got hurt. So the next year, 07, they win 52 games. They lose to Utah in 7. Jeff Van Gundy still. And then the year after that, I believe. The year after that, they did lose. No, wrong. That's skipped a year. They lost to Utah again. So the 3 years Tracy was healthy, in Houston.
Utah was tough though.
Fair.
Utah was tough, but like Trace, he was winning.
No,
he had a
you're
team
right.
that was winning 51,
No,
52, and 55 games.
I'm not mad at you for saying one of those years you got to get out of those years. In my years, I'm more thinking about the 08 to, that's the injury-riddled years more so.
I understand.
And then the next year they won a playoff series without him.
Shout out T-Mac.
Shout out T-Mac, man. Shout out T-Mac.
I'm sorry, that was a long rant.
No, I get it, but I do think the situation in terms of the Suns kind of match what Atlanta is looking like, at least in terms of our perception of them. Like, we know they're good, they're gonna compete,
Absolutely.
but we don't think they're gonna win nothing. And once again, my fear is, and that has always been, once Chris Paul leaves, what does the team become?
That's fair.
But the Bucks, I'm more in line with you. I think the Bucks got a real shot again. They're 18-3 with in terms of the three of them is crazy. And then you take into account that
And they haven't really been playing particularly well. That's the crazy part. Like,
they're
Middleton
they're
hasn't.
winning tough ones.
They just winning ball games.
They're just
winning
winning
tough
ball
ones.
games. Middleton hasn't been shooting really that well. Holiday's been in and out the lineup.
Giannis been playing like an MVP, and they just been winning ball games.
They're just finding ways to win. Brooke Lopez hasn't really played all year.
And
DiVincenzo just came back.
Right.
Like, their team.
And Bobby Portis
Bobby
is a
Portis
pleasant
is
surprise.
hooping.
Yeah, now he
He's just
stepped up.
hooping.
He's a pleasant
Jesus.
surprise.
Like I said, and then they added some pieces. Noir, like I said, looked like he's taking, like he's another guy who helps them a little bit. Like, they're a team that, while they are the defending champs, we always have to acknowledge that.
Right.
They are the defending champs. So you have to give them that level of credit. Going back to Tamon's point, I think the reason people kind of are overlooking them, one, is because they're in fourth place right now, but also, like, it's very much the Warriors after they won in 2015. It's like, well, y'all, we told y'all only won because such and such happened, because such and such injuries and such and such, such and such.
We don't believe in them.
You don't believe.
No,
So it's like-
to be quite frank, we don't believe in them.
and that's the thing. So I think Milwaukee kind of hears that. They internalize it. I think, honestly, because I think you and me watched the opening night together when they smacked Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think they were coming out to make a point, and then injuries just derailed it. So they kind of just took their foot off the gas. It was like, all right, cool. We're going to make sure we're in this for the long haul. And they're just kind of making sure they're ready for the playoffs. So I think they have that chip on their shoulder. They just got to get healthy, get ready for the moment. They match up as well as anybody with Brooklyn healthy, period. Like, I've said that for 2 years now. I still say it. Like, they match up well with Brooklyn. Can they beat Brooklyn? We'll see. But that's what everybody's waiting on.
Yeah, because Brooklyn definitely going to pay the $70,000.
Yeah.
I'll donate.
They definitely going to hit that $70,000.
They get $5 a game from me.
So,
Real talk, what if they did start a GoFundMe for Brooklyn Nets fans?
Put my name on the
pay
chip.
Pay Kyrie's fines.
Put
that
my
would
name on the
be
chip.
sick.
That
Adam
would be
Silver would
hilarious.
go crazy.
No, realistically, just
but
take it out
I-
of game check.
I
But-
did-
Realistically, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But
if
I did hear-
Brooklyn went through a GoFundMe to pay his fines.
Nah, it would just look. Kyrie wouldn't even allow it. It look real bad on him.
But
if it did go through, I would love that.
I did hear the NBA's not gonna let them pay the fine. Like, they're not gonna let Kyrie play.
Then you shouldn't put that out there. Then
But who put it out there is the
Yeah,
question.
it got leaked.
It got
everything
leaked.
gets leaked.
Like, the NBA, like, so the city of New York would let them do it. The NBA is like, nah. Like,
Adam Silver, now's not the time to act like David Stern.
nah, that's nasty. That's nasty. Somebody
So-
didn't do their job on the PR front. Like somebody
It's
did
just
not
dumb.
do their
It's
job.
like, so you're
because you
telling
can't
me
allow
there's
that.
people that can be on the court hooping, not vaccinated, as long as they don't have a Nets jersey on. You telling me all the fans there, everybody and their mama.
That's crazy.
I say it was right.
But if you got a Nets jersey on, you got to do this, that, and the third.
That's sick. Nah, I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that. They should have nipped that in the bud when all those. As soon as we saw how much it cost to pay fines, the NBA should have came out right after that and said, the NBA still has majority rule over how this goes down. This is not, we are the governing party in terms of how
Then
this
fix
goes
it.
down.
Just make it make sense. Why can Brad Bill play in New York but Kyrie can't? Like,
I don't know. That's
the only issue.
that is the question
I
can't
because it's
answer.
dumb. Like, that's the only issue I have is that literally that right there. If we're gonna do it, like, if New York's gonna say, "Oh, Kyrie can't play here," and et cetera, then no unvaccinated player should be able to play in that
Should
stadium.
have pulled the AB.
I can't condone that, but Or Aaron Rodgers, people like that one a little better.
Oh, I wonder why.
Immunized.
But I guess transitioning over past Giannis to some other two bigs that we haven't really talked that much about as well. Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Giannis are all getting some MVP rumblings. And it's all well deserved, to be honest.
Yeah.
All well deserved. Jokic is averaging 26, 13, and 7. Embiid's averaging 28, 11, and 4. And of course, Giannis is averaging 28, 11, and 6. So my question is it possible that we could see three bigs in the top three in terms of top 4 in voting? I put top 3 here, but top 4 in voting.
I mean,
Yeah, with Kevin
we've seen
Durant.
that the last couple of years.
Have we?
Yeah.
I think
Big-
Giannis
bigs?
and Jokic have both been in. And
There's only been 2.
Embiid has been at least in the top 5.
5, yeah. He's
Like-
been
Really?
in top 5s. Yeah.
Like,
Embiid has been top 5.
all 3 of those guys have always been top MVP candidates.
Over the last 3 years, they've been hovering around. Yeah.
Okay, I was unaware.
Like the only thing that's ever taken Embiid out of the discussion has been injuries. Like
That's true facts. Looking at, okay, so let's transition then. They all could be top 4 in voting. Not an issue. I listened to Stephen A. Stephen A. said that Joel Embiid translates in the playoffs better than Nikola Jokic. You say what to that?
I don't think that's necessarily true. Like what?
waiting on it to be proven.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm waiting on that to be proven.
I just don't get what he's trying to say.
I
What do you mean translate?
I watched Jokic send Kawhi home packing. I watched Kawhi make Embiid cry on his way to the locker room. What are we doing?
I just don't know about translate. I just don't. Usually when people say translate, it's generally a shot at one or the other. I think they can both play phenomenal in the playoffs. We've seen Jokic be Jokic.
To be fair, I don't think Stephen A. said that Jokic didn't translate in the playoffs.
He just saying
well.
Embiid would take it
He
to the
said
next step.
Embiid translates better in the playoffs.
When?
In terms of
I feel like that's a dumb thing to say. I don't even care if it doesn't mean anything. That's what I mean why it's a dumb thing to say. Because if you're saying Jokic translates damn phenomenally, and you're saying, oh, I think Embiid, that's just you taking your pick and you're just blowing smoke. Like he didn't say much. So when the way he put it made it seem like he was taking the shot at Jokic or something
Right.
like that. But if he's not, then just take your pick and go. But what do you mean by translate better in the playoffs?
this has been a conversation. Let me slow down. This has been a conversation between Embiid and Jokic since they both kind of ascended.
Yeah.
And I think what people have done, they looked at Embiid, and they looked at Embiid in 2 situations. One, he's more athletic, but then we also look at Embiid and say he's in Philly, and Philly isn't necessarily doing their best job to optimize what he can do. And that's the front office now not getting Ben Simmons out of there to bring in another body, because you essentially have a max contract wasted. And then you have a coach in Doc Rivers, and you start to hear the rumblings again after their loss versus the Clippers, that, okay, maybe Doc isn't that great of a coach, and he's doing more harm than good for Embiid and the Sixers as a whole. And so I think that's what it is. If you put Embiid in any other situation, if you put Embiid in a situation with a Mike Malone, he could do what he does. And so Jokic is blessed because of his situation, and Embiid is hurt because of his.
I mean, I see what people mean, but like it's not like Jokic has all his blessings this year. Like his roster isn't
last year
filled.
when he took Portland out in the first round
I
without
say-
Murray.
Yeah, I would say it's not like his cup has run full while like Embiid is completely empty. I do see what people mean, but I think that's nitpicking and not worth a sit down like, vein going through your forehead discussion. Like it's not making nobody think too hard. In terms of playoffs, I always thought it was just who had the better team built around them. And I would say the one thing I would say about Embiid that I'm not going to say about Jokic, it seemed like as soon as people realized Jokic is clicked, we're going to build around him. It was a whole battle between Embiid and Ben Simmons and really trying to figure out a fit. They started building around Ben a little bit more. So if you want to go that route, but I don't know, I don't see too much of a difference in terms of just raw ability between both of them and their impact on the court in terms of what they can do for their team. So I don't know. I don't know what that statement was supposed to mean that Stephen A. has said in terms of playoffs, like he'll take Embiid over Jokic. But if I'm taking my pick, I'm taking Jokic right now. Like,
Same.
yeah.
I think we
Like,
all
if that's
can
what
agree
we
in
were
the room,
supposed
right?
to do-
Chief, picking you. You
He's
tight?
not. Well, I can't
What's wrong?
see. I can't actually see his face. So.
It's not you.
Oh.
It's not you at
I was
all.
like, what? You're
making
not taking
You're,
Jokic? I thought
you're
we were
making
all-
very good points. It's not you. I just realized what this is all over again, and I'm just over it. I'm over the conversation.
Big man
already.
propaganda. What is
It's
it?
not big.
Shout out Rudy
It's-
Gobert. He
you know,
ain't in this.
you really-
Athleticism over skill.
You want you,
I
going back to that point? Yes, but to put it in terms, it's Steph Curry versus James Harden again. It's the big man version.
the big man.
It's really what it is. Because Joel Embiid, honestly, if you want to be super technical, is he a better one-on-one scorer in the block, wherever you want to claim on the court than Jokic?
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Probably.
I'll give him that.
I would give him that. But when it comes to actually impacting and affecting the game and making players better around you, there's no comparison between these two. There's none. Jokic is a one-man offense to himself. We're literally watching it this year. You can put him on the court. Can you name anybody on the Denver Nuggets bench right now?
I'm not supposed to be able to.
Exactly. And somehow this team is still a very good
Compazzo.
offense. He's been starting half
I
the
would
games.
say, yeah. I would say he doesn't count. He starts.
Like, even now, Joel Embiid, and granted, I actually feel really bad for him because he's having a phenomenal year. And if they find a way to get off that Ben Simmons contract, if they can get anything for Ben Simmons,
Oh no!
right now,
At this point,
I
if they
think will be a
can't, if
legitimate
I'm
title
Joel
contender.
Embiid, I'm like, trade me in the offseason. If you really just waste my year like this.
Facts. Like, I think they could be a legitimate contender if they find a way to get off that Ben Simmons contract and get value back for him. With that being said, let's not act like he has trash around him this year.
not?
He has Steph Curry, who's been one of the best shooters in the
Tobias
league this
Harris
year.
is still
Tobias
there.
Harris is still there. Tyrese Maxey is taking
Yeah,
a
I was
step.
about to say Tyrese
Still
Maxey's
got
been
Matisse
hooping.
Thybulle. He's got players around him. So let's not act like he's doing something that's otherworldly. He's playing like an MVP with a solid team around him. Cool, great. I love watching it. He's having a phenomenal year. Jokic, we have watched now for the last, we can say 3, if we want to be just super technical. The last 3 years has ascended to a superstar level that we have literally looked at this man and said, he's the greatest passing big man ever. There's no discussion.
Yeah.
There's no discussion about it. It's literally Steph Curry, greatest shooter of all time. Discussion's over. Period. He's doing things on the court that literally you can't fathom. So I'm not seeing discussion. Stephen A wants to talk about playoff who translate. Well, let's see who averages. Oh, Jokic averages more points, more assists. Dag averages more steals.
Stat management is bad.
Like, shoots better from the field, higher true shooting field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, free throw percentage, average the same amount of rebounds, good for them. Like, what are we doing?
Whoever got this man a tablet is a menace.
I bought it for myself. Thank you very much.
You're a menace.
You're a minute. Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Once again, biggest point. Jokic sent Kawhi home packing.
It's just play style.
Kawhi
I think
sent
they're
Embiid
arguing.
crying to the locker
They're
room.
just arguing on play style. And when he said one-on-one, I think not one-on-one, excuse me. When he said playoff, like which one translates better, I think he just meant one-on-one. I literally think that's because that's the only thing that I can consider here and sit down. I'm like, all right, let me try to pick into your brain and see what you meant. That's the only way I can see why you're picking Embiid. But if it's actual impact, I don't see how you just slight it that easily.
But what's crazy about that is, and let's bring up another guy on this list right now.
Okay.
We faulted Giannis so many times because in the playoffs, teams built a wall and stopped him. Essentially, put 3 people in front of him and make him pass. I don't care what nobody says. If it takes putting 3 people in front of me to stop me, I'm unstoppable. Point blank, period.
I agree.
Embiid, we have watched numerous times get taken out of a playoff series. Marc Gasol, at the end of his prime, had Embiid in a bag. Like, clamped up, can't do nothing, can't move, can't finish. Like, we watched that happen. But everybody acts like it didn't. We watched him without Ben Simmons going to a playoff series and as a 7-footer shoot, 42%? Like, what are we doing? We've seen Embiid struggle, so why does his struggles not matter? I still haven't seen Jokic struggle in a playoff series. I haven't seen it. The best you could do is the Lakers, and even that one,
It wasn't a struggle. He
It
just got
wasn't really a
outplayed
struggle.
by another phenomenal big.
You was playing against a better team who was literally putting all their defensive attention on you. He was still making the right reads. His team was still playing decently. Truth be told, they shut down Murray more than they shut down him.
That's true.
Like, I have yet to see a team take Jokic out of a series. You want to know why? Because you can't. You can't take a 7-footer who can shoot 40% from three, post up, finish with both hands, and is the best passer probably on the floor out of the series. You can't do it.
Unless you get him injected.
That's about
I've
it.
seen that work.
That's about
Definitely
the only thing you
seen
can
him
do.
that work on Jokic a couple times.
That's it. So no, y'all want to know why I say I couldn't sit across with Stephen A? This is why. I'm not having this conversation, bruh.
Man, what 1.5?
I had a conversation
Yes,
for 1.5.
sir. Yes, sir. Embiid.
I had a
Yes,
conversation.
sir.
My fault.
You know what, Stephen A? You make a good point.
Let me rephrase. I can't have that conversation without making Stephen A look stupid, and that's how I'm getting fired.
Man, I think
That's
this.
fair, I guess.
I mean, I agree. Jokic is definitely the best of the three. I mean, two. Excuse me, of two. Giannis, of course. We ain't doing that right now. But definitely Jokic over Embiid. And in terms of what he has done in Denver, in terms of assuming that position as the franchise for this team, for this organization, granted, Embiid did have a Ben Simmons around where there had to be questions during that time. We weren't sure, like, the shot or the lack thereof of the shot, the pass itself didn't happen yet. So Ben Simmons and Embiid, there had to be some questions there, and you had to answer those. Jokic, it was just Jamal Murray, and I don't think we ever considered Jamal Murray being the franchise. We knew he was that second guy
he's the number two.
always.
Yeah.
Jokic just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna run with this, and the team has kind of followed suit. And so, I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun to watch in terms of how their careers, because they're always gonna be tied together. These two are always gonna be tied together for some reason. I think it's just because they're so close.
It's the way
in
they work.
age.
They're the bigs of the generation.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, Giannis has separated. I mean, not for whatever reason, but Giannis has separated himself from that conversation because he is Giannis.
I think it's his play style mainly.
Just to throw another name in this ring now, Anthony Davis has been upgraded to questionable as a game time decision against Miami.
I'm gonna keep it a band.
Don't care.
I'm gonna keep it a band, bro. I'm gonna keep it a band. Street clothes. I need to see him hoop.
Like, yeah.
I need to see him hoop. And
questionable. I'm questioning and I'm questionable. Like, I don't like.
Just
even if AD's
I was
healthy,
reading the report,
if AD's
man.
healthy, and I'm looking at this as AD's healthy, and if AD's healthy, he's 3 on this list.
He's 4.
Oof. You said that?
Yeah.
You said
Yeah,
that?
he's 4.
Oh, I wasn't
4.
prepared for
He's
that.
4, bro. He's 4. It's crazy. I had this conversation with Leak the other day.
I can't disagree.
And I was like, as much as I said AD's generational and et cetera, like we always talk about the best ability being availability and et cetera. But my biggest thing is like, dog, you have shown no growth over the last 3 years at all.
I mean, I said his offensive game was overrated 6 months ago, and y'all said I was
You didn't
crazy.
say it on
no,
air.
and
You did
I
not
don't
say
think
that
his
on
offensive
air.
game is
You did not say that
overrated.
on air. You said that
I
off
said-
mic.
I
That was
just said
off
it.
mic.
I was gonna say
I'll
I
say
would
it now.
disagree with that right now.
I put it on Twitter. Like, you acting like I'm running from the tape. Like, I've said his offensive game is overrated.
Oh, I'm just gonna disagree with it. I ain't saying you ain't
That's
saying it.
That's
Just for
fair.
on the record, as much as I'm about to say he's 4th on the list, it's just more so like if all 4 numbers were up on the board, I mean all 4 names were up on the board in terms of Jokic, Joel, Giannis, and AD, I'm taking AD last off the board.
Why is that?
It's less to do with it has to do with play. If you can't play, you
All right, so let's say fully healthy, all 4 names on the board. Who are you taking?
still might take AD last off the board because
So the question is why?
fully healthy Embiid is crazy. So
the question is why?
I think
I know why.
me
I don't think
personally-
because he's overrated though. I know
think
why.
I would just rather take all the other 3 names as the number 1 option on my team over AD right now. And I don't know if it's personal. Maybe it's just how critical I've been of the Lakers. And this is no disrespect to AD when I say he's 4 on this list. It's splitting hairs to me when you add AD on
we're
this.
debating 4.
Yeah, I don't want people to
amazing
be like, yo,
players.
he trashed AD.
No,
like,
we're debating
bro,
4
AD
amazing
could play
players.
30
Don't do
games
that.
right now, and I could change my mind. But from what I've seen over the past,
But
2
6
seasons.
Yeah, I was about to say 6 to 8 months.
Like, I can realistically say why I'm taking AD 4th on this list, like, without question. And granted, it goes back to me saying his offensive game is overrated, But part of that reason is, of the 4 names here, AD has never, and like I said, let's go back to him being offensively slightly overrated. He has never, ever been able to control or manage an offense like those 3. He never has. He's never been a dominant post-up player. He can score from the post, but he's never been dominant. He's never commanded double teams. He's never been a great shooter, never been a great playmaker. Everything on offense he does at an above average level, but not elite. The one thing he does elite on the offensive level is lob threat, rim run, which is great, but that means you need somebody to pass you the ball. These guys don't need that.
Okay. I disagree. I agree that he's 4th. I disagree for your reasoning. I think the talent is there. The talent is there.
The talent is no
the
question.
The mindset isn't.
That's my issue. He doesn't.
The mindset is he ain't hungry for it. For whatever reason, he's not hungry for it.
And I don't want to go that route, but it's wild.
Because I can't read a man's mind. I can't say what he want or don't want.
Yeah.
But at least from what I've watched, in terms of the ability to do what these guys do,
the actions don't match up with what wanting it would look like.
Right. And I think that's what it is more so than anything. Could he go out and be a dominant post presence? Skill-wise, yes, he could.
Give him 30 games, he could be the best out of his 4.
Could he be an exceptional passer? Maybe not to the level of Jokic, but could he average like 5 assists? Yeah, he could do that. Could he I don't think he could ever dribble like Giannis or be athletically, but he is a fluid and mobile athlete.
Play out on the wing as well.
So he could fall in the category of being probably the best post scorer, ability-wise, skill-wise, in terms of Embiid over that. Second passing, second as an athlete. The problem is, when I watch him play, he look a little funny in the light. I don't know. I think that's what it was.
Boy, he looking like he gets pushed.
He look a little funny when he plays sometimes.
A little shove would do it.
Right. Like, and next thing you know, he's just drifting that. He's just drifting that
through. Game. Like that's part of the offensive package. Like if you can't.
Oh no, that's fair. Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
It is, but it ain't. B. It is, but it ain't.
I totally get y'all saying.
Game week off that though.
Because we all seen that kid in camp. Like he's dribbling between the legs. He's doing all the drills.
And when the lights come on, and you can't do it when the lights on, guess what? I'm gonna call you at the end of the game or the end of the season. Overrated. I'm sorry. That's what I'm calling you at the end of the season. If you busting me up in practice, but you can't do it when the lights come on, guess what I'm calling you at the end of the season? Overrated.
It's not overrated.
That's overrated. That's the definition of overrated.
I feel like we're going to call him overrated. I feel like it ain't that much.
Once again, that's why I said his slightly overrated.
Before he got hurt, he was averaging, 23, 11, or 23 and 10. Like, he's great. He's always going to be great.
I think he's a generational defensive talent.
He's generational.
Like, defensively, I think he's generational. He might be truth be told, he's probably the best all-around defender on this list. Him and Giannis probably neck and neck.
I was about to say Giannis would go crazy.
Giannis definitely has a case, but I probably would still take AD in all honesty. So defensively, I think he wins this matchup. But when it comes to offensive capability and skill set, like I don't see it. We can sit here and say it's because of work ethic, because he doesn't have the go-to.
I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is. You know what?
At the end of the day, he just don't do it.
Bro.
He just don't do it.
Sounds so weird. He started to give me 7-foot wigs vibes. Like when it was just at one point where it was just like, bro, there isn't anything I could say. Bro. Are you just not working hard enough?
No wigs, bro. But I mean,
hey, Wiggs is hooping this year, so whatever.
Well, no, that's what I mean. When you have all the talent in the world, but for some reason it hasn't got put together. And granted, I'm talking outside of injuries for AD because like we all know that he's been injured, but we've all seen him on the court when
the funny thing is when we watch him and we've seen him in series, in playoff series, where you're like, you know what?
He's put it together.
That was wild. Like what he did was special. Like with some of the series he had in New Orleans, that was special.
When they got the Blazers out of there in like 4.
Of course, that was the Blazers. We understand the Blazers have always been
big.
No. Right. They've been a teetering team. I don't even know if Nurkic played in that series.
I think he did.
I'll look. I feel like he did, but I can't keep it. But we've seen him in series where you're like, you know what? That's special.
Yeah.
And that's him putting it together. The last 2 seasons, as these guys ascended,
bro, since they won a chip, I have not seen him put together an AD-ish run.
And for me, that goes back into, I know the bag is there. I've seen the bag in action. He ain't tapping into it for whatever reason.
That's availability to me. Even if you're on the court, if you're not tapping in it, if I have to see what kind of AD I'm gonna get every half.
Right. Nurkic played.
He played? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I don't like. I don't know, man. Huh?
Not well, but he played.
Yeah. And I'll give AD that credit. I mean, he's better. He's better than Nurkic, so I mean, like, I'll give him that credit.
Like,
so
he dominated when he was supposed to. Like I said, I mean, I guess we can all just say we all have different reasons why we think he's not for it.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
and I go mindset. The bag is there. The skill is there.
He has everything he needs to be number one. Yeah.
To your point, you said like there's guys you see at camp, they do it and they got all moves. How many guys have you seen at camp where they look like they got the moves, but for whatever reason, it just don't go in the basket like it should?
Yeah, okay, but I don't.
I'm just saying, like y'all can bring up, like I said, this is the thing. We're literally doing it right now. We're bringing up,
I guess
that
I see
one
what you
series
mean.
against the Blazers,
All right.
the bubble, he did it. But for the other 85-90% of the time, it ain't there.
Yeah, you right. AD trash. I'm trash.
I'm
He's
not
trash.
trash.
He
He's
sucks.
great.
He sucks.
He's
Can't
great.
hoop.
He's
Can't
great.
hoop
He's
at all. You
phenomenal.
heard it here first.
He's phenomenal.
Nah.
I just don't think he's a number one offensive franchise talent.
I think he is not on this. If we're taking this list right here, this is what I mean. He's fourth on this
Let
list.
me put it this way. If he's the Lakers' number one offensive option in 2 years, we're done. Like, we're a first-round playoff exit every year. That's all I'm saying.
Depends on whether I guess
if it never clicks in his head,
Yeah,
I agree.
I was
Like
about to
I mean,
say,
like I
that's
agree
what
if it
it's
never
for.
clicks
I'm
in
not
his
gonna say
head. Like
AD being your number one option is a bad thing, but I get what you're trying to say.
I feel you.
it's tough. It's tough, man. But shout out to all the bigs, man. Shout out to all the bigs. We want to show y'all some love, man. We had to show y'all some love. We've been talking about Steph and LeBron and Harden and KD.
Kyrie for playing his 10 games.
Hey, yo, when he out there though.
He
out there.
Bad brother.
Hey, I was concerned. I ain't gonna lie. Before we get into the next thing, I was concerned. I'm like, you know what? He might take him a little while to like get his feet wet.
I told myself he just needed a week.
I said he's gonna take him a little while to get his feet wet.
A week worth of games and he's straight.
It might be a slow start.
I mean, it helps that the Nets kind of just like, they just let him do what he wants. Like, hey, dude,
No, they really do. They really do.
Dude,
High screen
man,
roll,
like-
go get a buck. Like we do not
we
care.
ain't gonna complicate this for you like other coaches. Anyway,
Oh man, I thought you said you was gonna leave that out.
I didn't say no. You harping on it now more than I am. I just said my statement. I kept it moving.
All right. I'll get to you later. It's January, late January, and y'all know what that means. Trade season. We already seen one big trade go through, sending Cam Reddish to the Knicks.
Oh, you talking about that one?
Yeah. That one's a big one. That one hurt me. But now we got another one. As of late, Bryn Forbes is going to the Nuggets in a 3-team trade. The Nuggets get Bryn Forbes. The Celtics get Bol Bol and PJ Dozier. The Spurs get Juan Hernan Gomez, a future second-round pick, and cash considerations. So that's the other trade that's happened so far. There's definitely more to come in terms of what what trades look like in the deadline, fastly approaching, and one of which happens to be around y'all's team, man. Y'all team trying to put in some work to get things right. Mm-hmm. The Lakers are looking for answers. They apparently there's rumors Russell Westbrook for John Wall, and the Rockets are open to that move. But that's not it. There's more.
But wait, there's more.
There's rumors that they offered THT Nunn first round pick for Pistons Jeremy Grant. Mm-hmm. And that's it. There's no more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those trades, how y'all feel? Are the Lakers moving in the right direction?
If the Lakers trade Russ for John Wall, I'm no longer a Lakers fan. Like, no, to be completely honest. Like, I think the trade was like a first-round pick and Russ for John Wall. Like, if that trade goes through, like, don't even ask me about the Lakers anymore. Like, don't be like how you feel about that trade. Like, this is me going on record. Trade that stupid goes through, I am done. I'll come back in a couple years after certain names retire or get fired.
You retiring the jersey for a minute.
For a good little minute, bro. I'll be back like MJ. But, yeah, I'll come back wearing the 4-5, but y'all gonna have to give me a minute if something like that happens. Now, the THT and none for a first-round pick for Jeremy Grant, Hey, man, look, I hope y'all really think Jeremy Grant's like that. He's playing for the Pistons.
The last time
And he's good, but he's not like worth that is what I meant.
Okay, the last time we saw Jeremy Grant, he's not worth that. But last time we saw Jeremy Grant, he was before the Pistons, he was playing for the Nuggets. And
oh yeah, he was floating off on the Clippers.
he was and he was a very important piece during that series.
No, he was
Very important piece. And I think while that's not the best landing place for Jeremy Grant, I'm putting out a in and out on in terms of the best trade destination for certain players, and Jeremy Grant's one of them. I think the Lakers could use a guy like that.
Oh no, he's
Like I think
that's exactly what the Lakers need right now.
Yeah, I was
They
saying,
need-
I ain't mad at it.
They need pretty much every team in the league needs a Jeremy Grant. You need
I
a
think-
6'8", 6'9" guy who can shoot,
Yeah,
defend,
I think
move without the ball.
I'm spoiling the video, but I think Jeremy Grant's best fit is in Utah. I think he fits
That would
best
actually be a
there.
good fit for him. Actually,
I think that would
them
definitely
or
work.
Dallas.
Yeah.
I like either one of those spots.
So I think Utah would look really good in a Utah jersey, and he could possibly kind of give them some oomph in terms of what they look like in the playoffs, because we saw them when they went 5 out last year. It was bad. But yeah, I don't think that's bad for the Lakers. I think the asking price was high. I think they're desperate.
because it's the Lakers.
They're
We're gonna
desperate.
ask for everything. Like if I'm gonna make a trade with the Lakers, I understand how desperate they are. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
But the Russell Westbrook one for John
that's
Wall,
blasphemous.
man.
That's disgusting.
I feel like Brian wouldn't mind that though. Personally, I feel like
I mean-
just going off based off the conversation I've had with B.
7 years ago, I wouldn't have minded.
7
now,
years ago, I probably wouldn't have minded it either. We're talking what 2015.
yeah, that was Wall. They was both kind of at their peak. But I
Yeah.
probably would have to put next to LeBron. I probably would have took Wall over Westbrook. I'd have that conversation. But now, I haven't seen Wall in
Three
I haven't seen
years.
Wall as much as I've seen Clay. Like, what we doing? I saw a video of John Wall working out the other day, and I was like, yo, it was obvious he had lost his step. Like, he was playing in the rec with a bunch of dudes who ain't in the league, and I was like, it's obvious you lost his step. Like, you ain't the same guy no more. And I'd say I still think he could be a productive NBA player, but nah. And granted, Russ has been bad for the Lakers pretty much all season.
Like
Outside-
if you really think John Wall would do better,
I mean, at best, he's going to do the exact same with maybe a few smarter decisions. Maybe, but that's not enough. So, yeah, that trade ain't one I really want to
yeah, I'm about to say, I'm
discuss.
not trading Russ, no matter how bad he plays, for a point
Nah,
guard
John
who hasn't
Wall.
played in 2.5 years and might do slightly better. Might.
Like I said, man.
And I gotta give up a first.
Like I
for it.
said, the Lakers.
And yeah, that's the kicker.
The
I
Lakers
gotta
are looking
give
for
you a first.
answers, man. That's all I'm bringing to light, man. The Lakers are looking for answers.
I mean,
but
I'm sure they are. They're barely 500.
We're not 500 anymore, are we?
No, I think we're one game over now because we beat the Magic last night.
Oh, we did beat the Magic. Yeah, I thought we
So-
went down under when we lost to the Pacers.
We did. Like I said,
Who did we beat in between that?
we beat who we beat the other night?
I
forgot.
don't watch y'all games.
I do just to get angry. Oh, we're at 500. We're 21-21.
That's old. We're past 21 now.
You sure?
What side you on? What side you on?
I'm on Basketball Reference.
Oh wait, yeah, that was a. Wait, what am I looking at? Why am I looking at the Kings?
No, we're 23 and 23. You're right.
23,
But we're
23?
500.
500,
You're
yeah.
right. 23 and 23. So yeah, 500. We're a 500 team. And I'm so sick of Laker fans talking about, oh, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be great in the playoffs. Can't nobody beat LeBron and AD and Russ in a playoff series. How you gonna guard the Russ AD pick and roll? You go under it.
How about to say what? I sit like
That's
straight in.
that's what Russell Westbrook's brother said. That's what he said.
Hey man, it is.
Hey,
what
my
it
brother say wild stuff too. I just don't repeat it.
Oh boy.
Just don't ever repeat it.
Oh yeah.
is. So the other notable thing that at least I heard about was Paul Millsap and the Nets agreeing to part ways.
Yeah.
I think Paul Millsap is still a viable piece to like a playoff team in rotation somewhere.
Hang it up.
Where else could he contribute? You think he's done?
Nah, you can hoop somewhere. But you get to that point in your career where it's like, if it's not these three teams, and honestly, the Nets should have been one of them, then it's like, I can't justify you having that spot over a lot of other people. And I don't feel like you would want to be in a position where, like, what are you battling for? 9th seed? Like Paul Millsap? Like, no disrespect, but I think, and I know like people love hoop and you're gonna get your check and etc. I'm not gonna tell a man when to retire, but
Right.
you know, generally I see people wanting to play for a little bit more. But then you got the Vince Carters too, so it
Right,
just
I think-
depends.
Go ahead.
No, like I think Paul Millsap is definitely at that point in his career where he's at best the 9th, 8th man. Like that's being generous.
Yeah, I would say you scraping the bottom of the
Like,
rotation.
You're a bottom rotation guy. You're a vet. Like I say, you've been in some battles. You've been in some wars. But like
You're valuable.
very valuable.
Still.
But when you talk about where can he go, like Phoenix don't need him. Golden State don't really need him. Memphis definitely don't want him.
I don't know.
Utah, what's he gonna like? Utah don't like.
That's the only name that popped in my head was Utah.
But
and I
even
was just
Utah
like,
don't make
eh.
sense. Like
It's
unless
not
it's
a-
gonna be like their small ball five, but then
Yeah.
that don't help but so much. Like there's, especially if you're talking about a contender. When you're talking about going somewhere where you want to contribute to winning, I guess like there aren't many places left. I mean, maybe I don't even think Milwaukee makes sense. Like, I just don't see where the fit is. So unless he's going somewhere where he's just kind of gonna be a vet to younger guys,
Yeah,
that
that's
just
what I
make
mean.
his check.
It's about time to hang it up then.
Like honestly, if I was him, I probably would just ride out this Nets wave. Like
That's what I would have did. I don't like,
and,
hey, yo, forget
and the other part is
the
I
bigger
don't
role.
feel it. I don't really feel any sympathy for him at this point because you chose the Nets. You had other options.
Yeah, he did.
You could have went to. I could have told you from jump the Nets wasn't a good fit for Paul Millsap. Like they're going to be an ISO heavy offense. They're a pick and roll team. You do none of these things. Like if you're going to play with the Nets, you're either the lob threat or you're the shooter. One or the other. You're neither. So what do you bring to the table here? Like he would have fit much better with a team like stay with Denver, stay with Golden State possibly. Even the Lakers would have made possibly a little bit more sense for him. But like, so nah, dude, you made your bed, line it, ride it out. You might get a chip out of it, maybe.
Dang, B.
Just saying.
I mean, I don't feel any like kind of sympathy for him either. It just happens.
End of your career, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
So yeah, I think that's it in terms of news. Of course, there's names that's being floated around. Eric Gordon is one.
That's a big name.
That's a
Like, he can
very
help a
big
team.
name. I didn't realize how good he was shooting this season.
I mean, he's Eric Gordon.
Like, I didn't realize how good he was shooting. He's second in NBA in terms of 3-point field goal percentage.
Yep.
I think this is one of his healthiest seasons
He's played. Yep.
in a while. And so I think there's going to be a lot of contenders who got capital that's going to be reaching out saying, you know what? We can always use a 3-and-D guy,
Facts.
especially somebody who's been in some battles. So Eric Gordon's definitely one. I think Terrence Ross is another.
Yeah. Like, I think the Magic got a lot of pieces actually that people like. Even guys like Gary Harris who's on that team. Like
Yeah, I forgot about him.
Shout out
Mo
Gary
Bama's actually been hooping really well, but like I don't know if he's really part of their future. They got Wendell Carter and a couple other guys. Like that's another name somebody might swing for. You still got Indiana out there who hasn't made their move yet.
All of them.
Yeah,
That whole roster.
Everybody on the team.
That whole
Everybody
roster.
on that team is up. Like, and even Washington started to kind of throw some feelers out for like Harrell and other guys. Like, the trade deadline is going to be very interesting simply on the fact that there are a lot of teams that feel like they can push, like they can make a push.
And once again, like I said, if I'm Utah, I'm
They
definitely
got to make a move.
they got to do something. This is more so for trying to make a push, but also to show Donovan Mitchell, hey yo, we want you. We want to give you teams you can compete with. Because there's already rumors and rumblings out there. He said, he wants to be in a bigger market to begin with. And Utah is the smallest of one of the smallest markets outside of what OKC. Like
Yeah.
OKC, it ain't Indiana's a basketball like that, so we can't even use that. So Utah definitely has to do something because they running out of time with him. Everybody else on that in terms of that core is what 30, 31.
Yeah, give or take.
For the most part, he's really the youngest guy on that core. You got to show him that you want him around for the future, and you got to show him that you're trying to win. So Jimmy Grant is definitely should be up high on Utah's list. Terrence Ross,
Even the Clippers are talking about making moves, like because they just realized
selling?
Yeah, because they realize the situation they're in. Paul George isn't probably might not be coming back. Kawhi's probably not going to play this year. So why not move
Might as
off?
well, get something.
Move off some of these guys, Batum, Bledsoe, whatever the case may be, and just invest in the young guys like Terrence Mann in them. So the deadline's going to be very interesting because you got, like I said, we've all said like who our contender tier is, but there's a few teams who are like right there who believe they can push into that. And then you got a lot of teams who are like 11 and 12 right now who needs, like Atlanta needs to push back into the playoff picture. Yeah. Like they have to. Like if they don't make the playoffs,
somebody getting fired.
Heads gonna roll.
Somebody getting fired.
Point blank, period. Like New York is kind of in that same boat. Like they feel like they should make that push. Boston's kind of in there. Like even Portland, like what's Portland gonna do? Are you really holding on to Dame?
Are you holding on to that? We've talked about that too many times.
I mean, I know we have. I'm just saying, like these are the moves like people got to make. I know Dame shut down for the season, but like
they got a couple weeks.
Wow. You got a couple weeks. Like there are so many moves that can't. Even the Kings, who are like the 11th seed right now, are still technically in the play-in, but they've been shopping De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah,
like the deadline's gonna be interesting.
Free Buddy Hield, dog.
Facts.
He went out of there so bad.
But like they got a whole bunch of guys on the team that are like good assets. Rashawn Holmes, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes. Like those are guys who could legitimately help a team to a championship or a playoff status.
Yep.
Easily. Which is crazy because they're all on the same team and they can't do nothing. Y'all said it was Luke Walton's fault. They still bad.
Well, they can't do nothing. I'll say they're all on the same teams because everybody's just been giving out maxes. And realistically, those guys are going to be in the mid pay grade. Like,
relax,
you got 2-3 maxes. You're not going to have.
I'm not letting them get away with that. Luke Walton was a bad coach.
Oh no, I was
like I'm not letting him get away with
don't
that.
Have them.
He definitely slid that in there, and I did not appreciate that. Luke Walton was a bad coach, B. He's overrated.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
Walton,
it. My man went 24-0 with the Golden State Warriors, and everyone thought he was a golden boy.
They coached themselves.
Can't believe he tried that just now.
Hey. I would have went 22-2 with those Warriors.
I ain't seen many coaches win in Sacramento. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, that's fair, but I'm not giving him credit for being another losing coach.
That's fair. I ain't celebrating him. I'm just saying. I don't think it was all his fault.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he was a bad coach there.
I agree. I can agree with that statement. Right, that's where I'm at.
I can live on that.
That's where I'm at.
I can live on that.
He was a bad coach there.
I think
he did not do a good job.
I think he's a bad coach. But all right, we can.
I agree.
Shoutouts, man. We out of here, dog. It's a good episode. About an hour.
Give or take. Yeah. Shout out Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
Hooping.
Yeah, 28, 8.5 on 50% from 3 the last 2 games. I think one of them was against the Lakers. Game they won.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That means like you're playing the Kings.
I ain't gonna kick it, bro. They should have lost that game. Cause I don't even think.
But they beat the Warriors right after that too. That was the crazy part.
You talking about the Lakers or
the Pacers?
The Pacers.
They should have lost against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah.
But we're the Lakers, and we have Russell Westbrook.
So. That Warriors game was also funny, but.
Yeah, the Warriors game was hilarious. That was just such. Anyway.
Goes back to Brian's point about coach.
Oh yeah, coaching was just horrible in that game.
You really, I'm starting to understand where you're coming from when you say Steve Kerr could really fold it all.
You say he could what?
He could fold it. He could be the reason they fold.
Oh,
he could fold. I'll take that back. The team wouldn't fold. He would fold.
Steve Kerr is the biggest threat to the Golden State Warriors championship hopes at this point in time. I'm leaving it there.
And also, of course, on this day, the Mamba, the GOAT, well, one of them, Kobe Bryant, went for 81 on the Toronto Raptors. Y'all go ahead and spam up Jalen Rose with 81s.
That's cold.
Don't do that.
But this is also the day you finally started respecting.
No, for real. This was the day. This was the day. I went to school.
81.
I went to school.
That's ridiculous.
Me and this man used to argue all the time. I was like, yo, how do you not know Kobe is that
I used to argue with
I didn't
LeBron
say he wasn't that dude. I was just a hater. I
81?
told y'all. I didn't say he wasn't
You
that
just had
dude.
the hate in your blood.
I was just hating. I was just hating the hate.
Pitiful.
But I definitely came to school the next day. God is my witness. I was like, you know what? That dude Kobe different.
It took 81.
It
took the second greatest scoring game ever.
That dude Kobe, all right, fam.
So it wasn't the 7 straight 40-point games.
Nah,
it wasn't the 60-point game by the third quarter.
Ball.
It was 81.
Yeah, I was definitely.
It was something that literally you have not seen before. It took literally something you've never witnessed ever in the history of your life
Yep.
For you to finally give somebody the respect.
That's
No,
crazy.
not somebody. Excuse me. For you to finally give Kobe Bean Bryant.
Yeah. I was definitely hating for all that time.
At least you know. At least you know. A lot of people don't get past that.
Man.
I was definitely hating. It was
wild.
definitely a long grind to growth for me. Cause like I said, I came to school the very next day. I was like, yo, I can't hate no more, bro. that was crazy.
That's disgusting.
That was crazy.
That's disgusting.
I would have died with that hate. It would have died in my heart.
Can never admit this.
No, on the real, if 2000, when is my arguments? If like 2009, 2010, Bron ever dropped 81, bro, I'm dying with that in my heart. That was way too much arguing back and forth in the cafeteria for me to walk in and be like, so Bron dropped 80 last night. What you got to say? Like, no, nothing, bro. I'm dying with that hate in my heart.
What if he had dropped a 50-20-20 game?
Bro, I'm going to hate on it somehow. I'm going to somehow hate on that joint.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I was very much. It wasn't like I walked into school and I went up to like the first person I saw was like, yo, Kobe is different. Like everyone knew how I felt about Kobe, including Brian. Like, he did it too. Like I think we met up like that next weekend. Like he came by the house, we was playing 2K
I
and
definitely
stuff.
just asked him about
And he was like, yo, what you think about Kobe? I said, he got it. I didn't know what to say. He got it, fam. He got it. He that guy. He said, you done? I said, I'm done. He got
Better than
it.
me, I would have hated some more. And just when I thought I was done hating, just sprinkle a
I
little
just
bit
couldn't,
more
bro.
on
I
top.
just couldn't.
Now, Tamar would have been like so close to 100 and he didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm
How
like,
could you
yo.
not get it?
Yeah, I remember it was. This is how much of a hater I love to be. Draymond Green almost had a quadruple double, right? But Mans had 8 points. That's what stopped him. So he had 10 steals, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 8 points. I said, forget everything else. You a bum. How you don't get 10 points? I'm a hate. You gonna have to figure that out.
I'm going to hate.
Yeah, like when D-Book dropped 70, but they lost. Oh, man, the hate came out of everybody. I loved it, but everybody else was like, but he lost, though. It's 70-something. And it was the bad Suns.
It was the bad.
They was going to lose by 15 regardless.
They
That
were.
70 probably made them lose by 11. They probably had a 30-point loss coming up their way.
It was crazy.
But, yeah, man, that's if you ever get caught hating, just hate some more.
Nah, man, it's okay. It's okay to change your mind, world. It's
You ever
okay.
get so far that,
It's
like,
okay to
it's just
it's
easier
okay
to
to
continue?
It wasn't that far though. I don't think it was that far. I mean, it was.
You hate
pretty
after
far.
a man with 3 I'm
It
not
was
going to
that
name all
far.
of this.
It was
You
that
know what
far.
he
It
had.
was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But I mean, once again, my hate was Kobe was a bystander of my hate because Brian was a Lakers fan, and I was
Okay.
like, I did not.
It was
like,
just embedded. It was
It
all.
was embedded. Like
Yeah.
Brian was a Lakers fan.
Kobe caught the stray.
Kobe caught all of them.
V straight.
He caught all of them. Like he caught all of them because Brown was a Lakers fan, so I in turn like AI, or then I in turn like the Spurs. I root for everybody. I root for every op. Every op the
You
Lakers
was the
had.
anti-Lakers.
Anti-Lakers fan. So,
But because of Brian.
come
To
here.
be clear.
to be clear,
He, like this is prime example of a hater.
For
These
sure.
are
Like,
Laker haters.
this
Real
are
life,
hater-
this is Laker haters.
This is hater characteristics here. I'm being honest, being forward with y'all. Y'all showed me
It's,
love.
it's
I'm
beautiful.
doing better.
You should have kept it up. But continue.
But so when the season was happening, I was looking at him like, yo, he's going kind of nuts.
40, 50, 40, 40, 50.
But I was just being quiet about it. I was just like, you know what, like he's going,
Smush.
he's going crazy. I'm like, this dude's different. Like, look who's on his mob,
Yeah, he's
Mark
playing with-
Madsen, like
Wet paper towel.
Chris Mim.
Chris Mim, like
Shout out Chris Milne. Not for anything though. Just
like
his
look
name
who's
doesn't
on
get
the-
said a lot.
Look who's on the floor of them right now, and so this game happened.
Lamar Odom squeezed through those years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one bright spot.
yeah. So when this happened, I was like, all right, fam, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, something to end all the hate.
Yeah, he did it, man. Shout out to Cole, man.
2016 was it for me for Braun, so I can understand 81 for you.
It's crazy.
I would have still hated it.
2016.
Yeah, he had to come back down for 3-1 to make me look at
So he had to
myself.
do something that nobody's ever done
2016?
before.
But we have to realize I'm still
That's
hating.
big hate,
I'm
bro.
still hating.
I still don't
I'm
like
still-
LeBron.
Like, y'all are looking like, oh, now you like LeBron. No, we just had months of years of conversations.
2016.
Yeah. I realized I had too much hate in my heart. I didn't get rid of it all. I just got rid of some of it.
That's wild.
He's sprinkled a little respect on it.
No, honestly, like, yeah.
2016 was cool for that bum.
Hey, man, we getting out of here. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. As always, Eat, Sleep, Breathe Game. We love you. Be safe. And we out.
Is that what y'all are doing now? I saw that. I'd never seen that before.
No, we always did that.
I've always missed the Spirit Fingers.
It was Rocket Power.
Rocket Power?
The Woogie Woogie.
Oh, they did do that Rocket Power. See, I'm so 99. When they bring it